The Lazy Girl. This story revolves around the character of Mia, a young girl who is known for her laziness. She struggles with procrastination, avoids hard work, and constantly looks for shortcuts. Despite having big dreams and ambitions, Mia's unwillingness to put in effort hinders her growth. Through a series of experiences and challenges, she learns valuable life lessons that change her perspective on hard work, determination, and personal growth. The story follows her journey from a life of excuses to one of taking responsibility for her actions. The central theme emphasizes that success requires effort and growth comes from overcoming challenges. It also highlights the importance of perseverance, self-discipline, and the realization that instant gratification does not lead to long-term fulfillment. The Lazy Girl. Mia was the kind of girl who loved to take it easy. She had always found a way to escape from tasks she didn't want to do. Whether it was helping with chores at home, finishing her homework on time, or even just getting up early for school, Mia preferred to spend her time daydreaming, playing games on her phone, or taking long naps. At first, her parents didn't think too much about it. They would let her sleep in on weekends, finish her schoolwork late, or leave chores for another day. Mia's parents thought that it was just a phase she would grow out of. After all, she was young, and it was normal for kids her age to not be entirely responsible. However, as Mia grew older, her lazy habits didn't go away. In fact, they only seemed to grow stronger. Mia had big dreams. She wanted to be an artist, a singer, a writer, sometimes all at once. She would tell anyone who listened about the amazing things she would accomplish when she grew up. But there was one problem. Mia never actually worked on these dreams. She talked about them a lot, but spent little time practicing her drawing, taking singing lessons, or writing stories. She always found excuses, telling herself, "I'll start tomorrow," or "It doesn't matter if I skip just one day." Whenever there was a school project, Mia would always do the bare minimum. She would start working on it the night before it was due and rush through everything just to turn it in. Her teachers knew she had potential, but her lack of effort was evident. Her grades were average, not because she didn't understand the material, but because she never put in the time or effort to excel. One day, her school announced an upcoming talent show. Mia's friends were excited and encouraged her to participate. Her best friend, Lily, suggested they perform a duet together. Mia loved the idea of standing on stage, receiving applause, and being admired by everyone. She was already imagining herself in the spotlight, but when it came to practicing the song, she wasn't very enthusiastic. Lily would remind Mia about rehearsals every day, but Mia always found a reason to skip. "I'm too tired," she would say. "Let's just practice tomorrow." The days went by, and the deadline for the talent show drew closer. Lily was growing more anxious because they hadn't practiced enough, but Mia remained relaxed. "We'll be fine," she reassured her friend. "It's just a talent show, no big deal." When the day of the talent show finally arrived, Mia and Lily stepped onto the stage. As they began their performance, Mia forgot the lyrics halfway through the song. She stumbled through the rest of the performance, singing out of tune. The audience clapped politely, but it was clear that it hadn't gone well. Mia was embarrassed, and Lily was disappointed. As they left the stage, Lily said to Mia, "If only we had practiced more." For the first time, Mia felt ashamed of her laziness. She knew that Lily was right. She hadn't put in any effort to prepare for the talent show, and it showed. She had let herself and her friend down. The experience left Mia feeling miserable, but she didn't change her ways right away. She fell back into her old habits, but the memory of that failed performance kept coming back to haunt her. Deep down, she knew she wanted to change, but it was just so much easier to stay the same. One weekend, Mia's grandmother came to visit. Grandma was a lively woman, full of stories and wisdom. She had lived a life full of hard work and adventure. When Mia's grandmother heard about the talent show incident, she didn't criticize Mia. Instead, she sat down with her and told her a story. When I was your age, Grandma began, I was lazy too. I didn't want to do my chores, and I avoided anything that felt like hard work. One day, I found an old, dusty piano in my parents' attic. I had always loved music, but I had never played an instrument before. I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to learn to play? But as soon as I realized how much practice it would take, I lost interest. Grandma paused, as though she was remembering the past. But then, she continued, I made a deal with myself. I would practice for just 10 minutes every day, no more and no less. 10 minutes was not much, but it was better than nothing. Slowly, those 10 minutes turned into 15, then 30, and before I knew it, I was spending hours at the piano because I truly loved it. I ended up becoming a pretty good pianist. The important thing, Mia, is that I started with something small and kept at it. Mia listened intently. But Grandma, she said, what if I start something and don't feel like finishing it? Ah, Grandma replied, that's where discipline comes in. You won't always feel like doing something, even if you love it. That's why it's important to do it anyway. The feeling of accomplishment comes afterward, not before. And believe me, it's worth it. After her conversation with Grandma, Mia decided to give this 10 minutes a day idea a try. She picked up drawing again, something she had always loved but never seriously pursued. At first, it was hard to stay focused even for 10 minutes. Her hand would get tired, and she would want to give up. But she kept reminding herself of Grandma's words. Days turned into weeks, and Mia noticed she was getting better at drawing. She could draw for longer without getting bored, and she began to enjoy the process. Her sketches were starting to look more like real pictures, and this gave her a sense of pride she hadn't felt before. Encouraged by her progress, Mia decided to apply the same principle to her other activities. She spent 10 minutes a day practicing singing, and she even started doing her homework on time. The more Mia worked at it, the more she realized how much time she had wasted being lazy. She still enjoyed relaxing and having fun, but now she made sure to earn it by putting in effort first. Her grades began to improve, and her teachers noticed her newfound dedication. Even Lily, who had been disappointed after the talent show, saw the change in her friend and invited her to perform together at the next year's event. Months passed, and Mia no longer needed to force herself to practice. She looked forward to drawing, singing, and learning new things. She discovered that hard work wasn't as scary as she had once thought. It felt good to challenge herself, to overcome difficulties, and to see herself grow. The memory of her laziness still lingered, but now it served as a reminder of how far she had come. Mia learned that laziness wasn't just about not wanting to do something. It was also about fearing failure and avoiding challenges. When she started putting in the effort, she found that the world was full of possibilities, waiting for her to explore them. And it all began with just 10 minutes a day. From that day on, Mia was no longer the lazy girl. She was known as someone who was always willing to try, someone who didn't give up easily, and someone who embraced the value of hard work. As Mia continued to improve her habits, she encountered new challenges. Her 10-minute rule had worked wonders for helping her build discipline, but she was starting to realize that some goals required even more effort and dedication. As she grew more ambitious, she found that just getting started wasn't enough. She needed to push herself beyond what was comfortable. One day, Mia's art teacher, Mrs. Collins, approached her after class. Mrs. Collins had noticed Mia's improvement and saw potential in her artwork. "Mia," she said, "you've been making great progress. There's an art competition coming up at the local community center. The theme is change, and I think you should enter." Mia's eyes lit up. "An art competition? That sounds exciting," she exclaimed. She had never participated in a competition before and was thrilled at the thought of displaying her art to the public. Mrs. Collins gave her a warm smile, but her tone grew serious. "This competition is different from just drawing for fun. The judges will be looking for more than just skill. They want to see passion, effort, and creativity. You'll need to put in a lot of time and thought if you want to create something special. Mia nodded eagerly, though part of her felt a bit nervous. She knew that simply drawing for 10 minutes a day wasn't going to be enough to create a piece that could win a competition. She would have to dedicate much more time and effort. Could she do it? What if she failed? That night, Mia sat in her room staring at a blank canvas. She had plenty of ideas swirling in her head, but found it difficult to put them down on paper. She doodled aimlessly, erased, and then tried again. Her usual sense of relaxation when drawing was replaced by frustration. After an hour of struggling, she put down her pencil and sighed. "Why is this so hard?" she muttered to herself. The next day at school, Mia spoke with Lily about her struggles. "I want to make something amazing for the competition, but every time I start, it just feels like my ideas aren't good enough," Mia confessed. Lily thought for a moment and then said, "You know, it sounds like you're trying to make it perfect right away. Why don't you just start with something simple, like a sketch? You can build on it and improve as you go. It doesn't have to be perfect from the start." Mia appreciated Lily's advice. She realized she was so focused on creating a masterpiece that she had forgotten the importance of starting small, just as she had with her 10-minute rule. That evening, she approached the canvas with a different mindset. She told herself that it was okay to make mistakes as long as she kept trying. She started with a rough sketch, capturing her initial idea: a tree growing in the middle of a barren field, its branches stretching upward as if reaching for the sky. The tree represented change, growth, and the power of transformation. As Mia continued to work on the piece, she added more details: a river winding through the background, leaves of various colors to represent different seasons, and a bird perched on a branch, symbolizing freedom. For the next several weeks, Mia poured hours into her artwork. She found herself losing track of time as she added layer after layer of color and detail. Her hands ached from holding the brush, and there were moments when she wanted to give up. But each time, she remembered her grandmother's advice about discipline and the feeling of accomplishment that came afterward. It wasn't easy, but she was determined to see it through. The night before the competition, Mia took a step back to look at her finished painting. It wasn't perfect. There were still small details she wished she could improve. But it was the best work she had ever done. And more importantly, it was a piece of herself. She had put her heart and soul into it, and that made it special. When Mia arrived at the community center for the competition, she was nervous but also excited. The room was filled with other artists, each displaying their work. Some pieces were so intricate and detailed that they took Mia's breath away. Doubt crept into her mind. "What if my painting isn't good enough?" she thought. As she set up her painting, she noticed an older boy setting up his artwork next to hers. His painting was incredible, a vibrant cityscape with incredible realism. Mia felt a twinge of jealousy and insecurity. "There's no way I can compete with that," she thought. But then she remembered how much effort she had put into her own work. Her painting wasn't just about skill, it was about the journey she had taken to create it. When the judges came around, they took their time examining each piece. They spent several minutes in front of Mia's painting, discussing it amongst themselves. Mia stood nearby, holding her breath. Finally, they moved on, and Mia released a sigh of relief. At least they had taken notice. Later that day, the results were announced. As the judges began listing the names of the winners, Mia's heart pounded in her chest. She didn't expect to win first place, but maybe, just maybe, she could earn a special mention. "To our third-place winner," the judge announced, "for a piece that truly captures the essence of growth and transformation, Mia Thompson." Mia couldn't believe her ears. She walked up to the stage in a daze as applause erupted from the audience. She was handed a small trophy and a certificate, and the judge smiled at her warmly. "Your painting was beautiful," he said. "We could see the dedication and thought you put into it. Keep up the good work." Mia's heart swelled with pride as she accepted her award. She realized that this wasn't just about winning a competition. It was about proving to herself that she was capable of achieving more than she ever thought possible. For the first time, she understood the true meaning of hard work and perseverance. As Mia returned home that evening, she placed the trophy on her desk, right next to her sketchbooks. It was a reminder of how far she had come and how much further she could go. The competition had shown her that she didn't need to be perfect right away. She just needed to keep trying and improving. The experience changed Mia in more ways than one. She was no longer afraid of putting in hard work, and she didn't shy away from challenges. She set new goals for herself, whether it was learning a new song on the guitar, writing a short story, or practicing different styles of art. She still loved to relax and have fun, but now she knew how to balance it with putting in the effort to grow. Mia's journey was far from over, but she had taken a significant step in the right direction. She had learned that hard work wasn't just about achieving success. It was about becoming a better version of herself. After the art competition, Mia continued to push herself. Her success gave her confidence, but it also made her hungry for more growth. She began setting more ambitious goals and trying new activities, but she soon discovered that not everything came as naturally as drawing did. One of these new goals was joining the school's soccer team. Mia had always enjoyed kicking the ball around casually with her friends during lunch, and she thought it would be fun to play for the school. But when she showed up for tryouts, she realized just how out of shape she was compared to the other players. While the other kids sprinted across the field effortlessly, Mia found herself lagging behind, her breath coming in ragged gasps. For the first time in a while, she was confronted with that old, familiar feeling of laziness, tempting her to give up. She wondered if she had taken on too much, trying to join a competitive sport without any prior experience. She could feel the discouragement creeping in, whispering to her that it would be easier to quit. After all, she wasn't really an athlete. Maybe she was better off sticking to drawing. But then, Mia remembered the painting competition and how close she had come to giving up on that too. She remembered the feeling of standing on stage and holding that trophy, knowing that she had earned it through hard work. If she could overcome the challenges she had faced in art, maybe she could do the same with soccer. So she made herself a promise. Even if she didn't make the team this year, she would still work hard to improve. She would practice every day, even if it was just for a few minutes, just like she had done with her drawing. Mia set small goals for herself, such as running a little farther each day or practicing dribbling for 15 minutes after school. Slowly but surely, she saw improvement. Her stamina increased, and she could run longer without getting tired. Her footwork became more precise, and she started to feel more confident handling the ball. Though she didn't make the team that year, Mia wasn't discouraged. Instead, she saw it as an opportunity to work even harder and come back stronger for the next tryouts. It was a humbling experience, but it taught her the value of patience and persistence. Just like with her artwork, success in soccer wasn't going to come overnight. In the meantime, Mia decided to keep herself busy by participating in other activities. She joined a creative writing club at school and began sharing her short stories with the group. Initially, she was nervous about sharing her work, worried that her writing wasn't good enough. But the feedback she received from her peers was encouraging, and she found herself excited to write more. Each week, she challenged herself to write something new, whether it was a poem, a short story, or a scene from a play. Through these experiences, Mia learned a valuable lesson. Everyone starts somewhere, and the beginning is often the hardest part. But just because something is difficult at first doesn't mean it's impossible. It only means that you have to keep going, even when you don't see immediate results. She applied this mindset not just to her hobbies, but also to her schoolwork and relationships. As the months went by, Mia's hard work began to pay off in ways she hadn't anticipated. Her grades, which had once been average, steadily climbed. Teachers noticed her increased effort and participation in class, and she started receiving praise for her assignments. Even her parents saw the change in her, and they couldn't help but be proud of their daughter's transformation. But the real test came when her grandmother fell ill unexpectedly. Grandma, who had been such an important influence on Mia's life, was hospitalized after suffering a minor stroke. The news hit Mia hard. She visited her grandmother in the hospital, where the once strong woman now seemed fragile and tired. Seeing her like this made Mia feel powerless, and for the first time in a long while, she was overwhelmed with a sense of helplessness. Grandma noticed the worry in Mia's eyes and reached out to take her hand. "Don't you worry about me, sweetheart," she said softly. "I'll be back on my feet before you know it. But until then, promise me you won't stop working hard. Keep challenging yourself, Mia. Keep striving to be the best you can be." Mia nodded, her throat tight with emotion. "I promise, Grandma," she whispered. With her grandmother's words echoing in her mind, Mia found a new kind of determination. She used the time she spent at the hospital to sketch and write, using art and words to express her feelings. She wanted to AF grandmother proud, to show her that she had taken the lessons she'd learned to heart. It wasn't easy to focus on schoolwork and extracurricular activities with the worry about her grandmother's health weighing on her, but she kept pushing forward, drawing strength from the promise she had made. With her grandmother's words echoing in her mind, Mia found a new kind of determination. She used the time she spent at the hospital to sketch and write, using art and words to express her feelings. She wanted to make her grandmother proud, to show her that she had taken the lessons she'd learned to heart. It wasn't easy to focus on schoolwork and extracurricular activities with the worry about her grandmother's health weighing on her, but she kept pushing forward, drawing strength from the promise she had made. Weeks passed, and gradually, her grandmother's health began to improve. When Grandma was finally well enough to go home, Mia was there to welcome her back, holding a handmade card that featured a drawing of the two of them together, with the words, "Stay strong," written in bright, bold letters. Her grandmother smiled, her eyes misting over with pride. "You've become such a strong young lady, Mia," Grandma said, her voice filled with emotion. "You've learned to work hard and not give up even when things get tough. I'm so proud of you." Mia's heart swelled with joy at her grandmother's words. For the first time, she felt that she had truly changed, that she was no longer the same lazy girl who avoided challenges. She was someone who embraced hard work, someone who didn't shy away from difficult tasks. She was someone who believed in herself. The following year, Mia tried out for the soccer team again. This time, she was ready. She had spent the entire year practicing, running, and honing her skills. When she stepped onto the field for tryouts, she felt a mixture of excitement and calm. She gave it her all, sprinting across the field, dribbling with precision, and even scoring a goal during a practice match. When the final list was posted, Mia's name was on it. She had made the team. The joy she felt in that moment wasn't just about achieving her goal. It was about knowing that she had earned it through perseverance and dedication. It was a victory that went beyond the soccer field, a symbol of all the hard work she had put in over the past year. As Mia celebrated with her teammates, she thought back to all the times she had been tempted to give up, all the moments of doubt she had faced. She was grateful that she had chosen to keep going, even when it seemed difficult. She had learned that real success wasn't about being the best right away. It was about showing up every day, working hard, and believing in the possibility of growth. In the months that followed, Mia continued to pursue her passions. She played soccer, continued drawing, and wrote stories that were published in the school's literary magazine. She wasn't afraid to try new things, knowing that even if she failed, she would learn from the experience and come back stronger. Mia's story was no longer just about overcoming laziness. It was about discovering the power of resilience, the courage to face challenges, and the joy of personal growth. She had learned that the journey was just as important as the destination, and that each step forward, no matter how small, brought her closer to becoming the person she aspired to be. And so, Mia's story continued, one goal at a time, one effort at a time, always moving forward, never settling for less than her best. She had learned that life wasn't about taking the easy path, but about embracing the climb and enjoying the view from every peak she reached along the way. After making the soccer team, Mia was thrilled with her progress, but she quickly learned that being on the team was just the beginning. Practices were grueling, and the coach had high expectations for everyone. Mia was no longer just trying to keep up. She needed to push herself even harder to earn her spot as a starter in games. The older, more experienced players often outperformed her, and Mia found herself on the bench during the first few matches of the season. At first, it was frustrating. She had worked so hard to make the team, yet she was still sitting on the sidelines. But then Mia realized something important. Just making the team was already an achievement, and being on the bench didn't mean she couldn't keep improving. She saw how the starting players played with confidence, how they communicated with each other on the field, and how they managed to anticipate their opponent's movements. It wasn't just about raw skill, it was about understanding the game and knowing where to be at the right moment. Determined to keep advancing, Mia stayed late after practices, working on her dribbling and shooting. She asked the older players for tips, and they showed her techniques to improve her footwork and strategies to position herself better on the field. Mia also began studying professional soccer matches online, observing how the top players moved and played as a team. She even practiced at home, running drills in her backyard and setting up makeshift obstacles to dribble around. Gradually, her hard work began to pay off. At the next few practices, the coach noticed Mia's improvement and began giving her more time on the field during scrimmages. Her teammates saw her dedication, and they encouraged her to keep pushing herself. Even when she made mistakes, Mia didn't let them discourage her. Instead, she viewed them as opportunities to learn. She was growing stronger, faster, and more confident. Then came a crucial game against the school's biggest rival. The team's starting midfielder was out with an injury, and Mia's coach called her over before the game. "Mia," he said, "I'm putting you in as a starter today. You've been working hard, and I think you're ready." Her heart raced with a mix of excitement and nerves. This was her chance to prove herself. As she stepped onto the field, she could feel the weight of the moment, but she was also filled with determination. She was going to give it everything she had. The first half of the game was intense, with both teams battling fiercely for control of the ball. Mia found herself in the thick of it, running up and down the field, passing to her teammates, and trying to break through the opposing defense. There were moments when the pressure felt overwhelming, and she made a few mistakes, a missed pass here, a slip there, but she didn't let it shake her. Each time, she reminded herself to stay focused and keep trying. In the second half, with the score tied at 1-1, Mia saw an opportunity. The ball came rolling toward her, and she quickly intercepted it. As she dribbled down the field, she saw an opening in the defense. Her instincts kicked in, and she sprinted toward the goal. A defender rushed to block her path, but Mia used a move she had practiced countless times, a quick step over followed by a sudden change of direction. She slipped past the defender and found herself with a clear shot at the goal. Taking a deep breath, she kicked the ball with all the strength and precision she could muster. It soared through the air, curved past the goalkeeper's outstretched hands, and landed in the back of the net. The crowd erupted in cheers. Mia had scored the winning goal. Her teammates rushed over to celebrate, patting her on the back and shouting her name. In that moment, all the hours of practice, the late nights, the frustrations, and the doubts melted away. She had done it. She had contributed to her team's victory in a significant way. After the game, the coach pulled Mia aside. "That was a great goal," he said. "But more importantly, you didn't give up. I've seen how hard you've been working, and it's paying off. Keep that mindset, and you'll go far." Those words resonated with Mia. She realized that the goal wasn't just a symbol of her improvement in soccer, it was a representation of the changes she had made in herself. She wasn't the same person who would give up when things got tough. She had learned how to push through setbacks and keep going even when the path wasn't clear. As Mia continued with the soccer season, she kept working on her skills, not just for herself, but for her teammates. She understood that being part of a team wasn't about individual glory. It was about contributing to something bigger. She made it a point to help others improve, offering encouragement to younger or less experienced players. Whenever a teammate struggled, she was there to remind them to stay strong and keep practicing, just as others had done for her. Beyond soccer, Mia's newfound mindset carried over into other areas of her life. She found herself tackling school assignments with more focus and determination, and even began helping her younger brother with his homework, encouraging him to keep trying when he found math difficult. Mia also started volunteering at the community center, where she helped organize art workshops for younger kids. She enjoyed sharing her love for drawing with them and teaching them that, just like in sports, improving at art required time and effort. One day, as she was leading a workshop, a little girl named Ella approached her and said, "I'm not very good at drawing. It's too hard." Mia knelt down to Ella's level and smiled. "You know, I used to think that way too," she said. "But I learned something really important. It's okay to be bad at something when you start. You just have to keep trying, even if it's only a little bit at a time. The more you practice, the better you'll get." Ella looked at her curiously. "Really? You used to be bad at drawing?" Mia laughed. "Oh yes, I used to get frustrated and give up. But then I learned how to work hard even when it wasn't easy. And you know what? I think you can do it too." Mia's words seemed to resonate with the little girl, who picked up her pencil and started drawing with renewed determination. Watching Ella's small but determined efforts reminded Mia of her own journey and the long path she had traveled from being the lazy girl to someone who embraced challenges. In the months that followed, Mia's life continued to be filled with ups and downs, but she faced each challenge with the confidence that she could overcome it. She no longer feared hard work, nor did she shy away from things that seemed daunting at first. Instead, she saw each new goal as an opportunity to grow and learn. She had become a person who valued effort and persistence, who understood that setbacks were just steps on the road to success. The lessons Mia had learned about the power of small efforts, the importance of perseverance, and the value of believing in oneself became a core part of who she was. It didn't mean she was perfect or that she never struggled with laziness or doubt. Those feelings still crept in from time to time, but now she knew how to handle them. She knew how to take that first step, and then another, until she reached her goal. And so, Mia's story was not just one of change, but of continuous growth. It was about discovering that the real reward of hard work wasn't just achieving a goal, but the person you became along the way. Mia had come to understand that life would always present new challenges, but with each one, she would be ready. She would embrace the journey, knowing that every step forward was a victory in itself. Overcoming laziness is a common challenge, and it's important to understand that it's not just about lacking motivation. Laziness can stem from various factors, such as fear of failure, low energy, overwhelming tasks, or even perfectionism. Here are some practical and genuine tips to help you overcome laziness, each with a detailed explanation to help you understand how to put them into practice. 1. Set small, achievable goals. Explanation. One of the biggest reasons for procrastination and laziness is feeling overwhelmed by the size of a task. When a goal seems too big, it's easy to feel discouraged and avoid it altogether. To counter this, break your larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks. For example, if you need to clean your entire house, start with one room or even one corner of a room. The key is to make the goal so small that it feels doable. How it helps. Achieving small tasks gives you a sense of accomplishment, which boosts your motivation to keep going. It creates a positive momentum and helps build a habit of taking action, no matter how small. 2. Practice the 5-minute rule explanation. The idea is to commit to working on a task for just 5 minutes. Tell yourself that if you still feel unmotivated after 5 minutes, you can stop. More often than not, once you start, you'll find it easier to keep going. How it helps. The hardest part of overcoming laziness is starting. The 5-minute rule tricks your brain into action because committing to 5 minutes feels much less daunting than trying to complete the entire task. Once you get started, you'll often find that you want to keep going. 3. Find your why. Explanation. Understanding the deeper reasons behind why you want to do something can be a powerful motivator. Ask yourself, why is this important to me? The answer should be meaningful and connected to your values or long-term goals. For instance, if you're trying to exercise more, the why might be to improve your health so you can have more energy and live a longer life. How it helps. When you connect tasks to your larger purpose, they feel more meaningful and less like chores. This emotional connection can help you push through moments of laziness because you see the bigger picture. 4th, eliminate distractions. Explanation. Laziness can sometimes be a result of easily accessible distractions, such as social media, TV, or even a cluttered workspace. To combat this, identify the distractions in your environment and take steps to remove or limit them. This could mean putting your phone on airplane mode, using website blockers for certain sites, or cleaning up your workspace. How it helps. By reducing distractions, you make it easier to focus on the task at hand. This reduces the temptation to procrastinate and helps maintain your concentration. 5. Set a routine. Explanation. Having a daily routine can significantly reduce laziness because it builds consistency. When tasks are scheduled into your day as part of a routine, they become habits rather than decisions you have to make. This way, there's less room for hesitation. How it helps. Routines help you develop a rhythm and make it easier to start tasks without thinking too much about them. Over time, tasks that were once difficult to start become automatic parts of your day. 6. Use rewards and consequences. Explanation. Motivation can be increased by setting up a reward system. For example, reward yourself with a favorite treat or activity after completing a task. Alternatively, you can set up consequences for not doing something, like telling a friend you'll donate to a charity you dislike if you fail to complete a goal. How it helps. Rewards and consequences create external motivation, giving you an extra push to start and complete tasks. The brain loves rewards, and even small incentives can make a big difference in overcoming laziness. 7. Focus on energy, not just time management. Explanation. Sometimes laziness is a result of low energy rather than a lack of motivation. Pay attention to your energy levels throughout the day and schedule important tasks for when you feel most energized. Additionally, make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating a balanced diet, and exercising regularly to maintain good energy levels. How it helps. Managing your energy, not just your time, helps you work more efficiently. When you have more energy, tasks feel easier, and you're more likely to take action. 8. Change your self-talk. Explanation. The way you talk to yourself has a big impact on your behavior. If you often think, "I'm just lazy," or "I'll never get this done," you reinforce those beliefs. Instead, practice positive self-talk by telling yourself, "I can do this," or "I'm making progress." How it helps. Positive self-talk helps shift your mindset from one of avoidance to one of action. It can increase your self-belief and help you overcome moments of doubt or hesitation. 9. Visualize the benefits of completing the task explanation. Spend a few minutes imagining how you'll feel once the task is completed. Visualize the benefits, such as the sense of accomplishment, relief, or happiness. This can help you create a strong desire to take action. How it helps. Visualization helps create a mental picture of success, which can motivate you to start. It shifts your focus from the effort required to the rewards you'll experience, making it easier to overcome laziness. 10. Accept that perfection is unnecessary explanation. Many people delay starting tasks because they fear not doing them perfectly. Accept that it's okay to make mistakes, and that done is better than perfect. This mindset will help you start tasks without feeling paralyzed by the pressure to be flawless. How it helps. Letting go of the need for perfection reduces the anxiety around tasks, making it easier to take the first step. It also encourages continuous improvement rather than waiting for the perfect moment to start. 11th, get an accountability partner. Explanation. Sharing your goals with a friend or family member who can help hold you accountable can be a powerful motivator. An accountability partner can check in on your progress, encourage you, and help you stay on track. How it helps. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals and expects you to make progress can give you the extra push you need to overcome laziness. It adds a social element to your motivation, making it harder to procrastinate. 12. Make tasks enjoyable or pair them with something fun. Explanation. If you find a task boring, try to make it more enjoyable by adding an element of fun. For example, listen to music or a podcast while doing household chores, or turn a work project into a game by setting a timer and seeing how much you can get done in that time. How it helps. Associating tasks with enjoyable activities reduces the sense of drudgery and makes it easier to start. It can transform an unpleasant task into something more tolerable or even fun. 13. Reflect on your progress. Regularly. Explanation. Take time to reflect on the progress you've made, no matter how small. Celebrating small wins reinforces the habit of taking action and reminds you that you're capable of overcoming laziness. How it helps. Regular reflection helps maintain motivation by reminding you of your accomplishments. It builds confidence and encourages you to keep moving forward. 14. Address underlying issues. Explanation. Sometimes laziness is a symptom of deeper issues such as stress, anxiety, or depression. If you feel persistently unmotivated, it may be helpful to speak to a professional who can help you address any underlying problems. How it helps. Tackling the root cause of your laziness can lead to a more lasting change in behavior. If there are deeper issues at play, addressing them can restore your motivation and help you feel more energized. 15. Embrace the concept of discomfort tolerance. Explanation. Many people avoid tasks because they find them uncomfortable or unpleasant. The idea of discomfort tolerance is about accepting that discomfort is a natural part of the process when pursuing meaningful goals. Instead of running from discomfort, lean into it. Acknowledge that it's okay to feel uneasy or bored, and remind yourself that pushing through it is a necessary part of growth. How it helps. Learning to tolerate discomfort can significantly reduce procrastination.